What's up, everyone? So, today I want to talk to you guys a little bit about how to make things happen on your own. I'm making this video literally impromptu because I've been thinking about this a lot, especially with what's currently happening in my life. Like, some of the things I literally can't explain to you guys. Like, I don't know how they happened, I don't know what happened, and I'm still like processing some of the stuff that happened. I think the best place to start would be to take you guys back to when I was severely unemployed. I think for me, I've gone through levels of unemployment. So right when we had lockdown, I would say that that was the first time that I was completely unemployed since the first time that I got a job after graduation, right? So it was complete lockdown and literally people were just at home. And the reason why I was extra at home was the fact that my mom just had an operation and the school where I worked at, I feel like was starting to fall apart, the management, and I realized that it was just not worth putting my mother at risk to go back to that school. So I was 100% unemployed. So I read the book, The 5 a.m. Club, around the first time that we started our book club. And that book changed my life. I would always say that. But regarding how I first employed myself, was that I started looking at videos about how people were making an insane amount of money online. And I was just like, how are these people doing this? So I first got a lot of generic answers, start a YouTube channel, blah, 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 blah. I've had a YouTube channel since 2013 and it has never made me money. It has never blown up. It has never like done anything, you know? And yeah, granted, I didn't do it consistently. And back then there weren't people telling other people how they can make it like SEO, friendly and all these other things. So basically everything I was doing from what I knew. And it wasn't just to upload, right? Like, oh, in order for it to work, it's not just about uploading, it's a bunch of other things as well that I only find out about this year or in the last couple of years. So the first way that I employed myself is that I went back to what I know best, which was tutoring. So I had 5 students that I was tutoring and they collectively made 3,000 rand. So that's around $240. Please ignore the noise in the background. I really can't control that. Anyway, so then I started a t-shirt business that completely failed because it was basically set up to run in America, but I could design it from here. So there were a lot of things that I only found out about towards the end, but then it just wasn't working. So I decided to shut that down, I think after 6 months or so. And then right after that, I decided to give Fiverr another try. And Fiverr was like the first thing that I can say actively contributed towards towards me earning anything on my own, that where nobody had to hire me. And by that I mean having an actual boss. So once Fiverr started to work, I realized that if this can work, anything else can work. You know what I mean? And then there was this one time that Yoko is a payment gateway solution company here in South Africa that basically was growing at the time, and they were looking for people who could resell for them. So I signed up, and I remember I went through the course very quickly. There's a training course, a course very quickly, and I wanted to get started as fast as possible. The only thing that was tricky there was that I'm extremely shy. Like, I might look like I yap now, but it's really hard for me to approach people and talk to them. And more than that, I've never sold anything to anybody before. So I targeted people who were the most likely, who needed the machine the most. For example, dentists in the area, doctors, like people like that. And it worked because they knew that people, when they needed emergency services and they didn't have cash, or the lines were ridiculous, their only option was through card. And I was so surprised that they didn't have their own card machines. So yeah, I did that for a while. That also brought in a really healthy stream of income. The only thing that sucked about it was some people needed way more convincing than what I felt like was required, because this thing is supposed to help your business why am I working so hard with the follow-ups, but you're gonna make more money if you use the system? Do you get what I mean? And I think I learned a lot about sales throughout that process. And honestly, I wouldn't exchange that experience with anything. I remember my mom, because I didn't drive at the time, my mom would go with me to these shopping centers, and then she would park somewhere, do her work in the car, and then I would go, because by that time my asthma was flaring up so extremely. So I couldn't go to these places by myself, but I pushed myself because I realized no one is gonna knock on my door and give me money. That was just the thing that I realized at the time. And I'm so glad that I did that, that I pushed myself to that extent. And that's why I'm making this video, because if you're sitting at home thinking, how am I gonna make an extra stream of income, but you're not willing to try anything, then it's never gonna work. Even as we speak, um, I'm trying to create group classes for my tutoring business that I have. And it's actually not even a business, it's just something I do on the side. Let's call it a side hustle. And I feel like, had I not said to anybody, hey, I also offer tutoring, or, used my current like circle to spread the message that I do tutoring, then nobody would have known that I tutor and I wouldn't make any money off of it. And now I'm trying to create group classes from my tutoring in order for me to make more money. That's something that you have to think about when you are in this line of work, because you are the only person that you can rely on. Some of us are not born into families that already have entrepreneurship in them. So if you don't have that, you have to ask yourself, are you always going to be an employee with one stream of income? And if that's the case, that's fine. But if you want an additional stream of income, you have to get off the couch or off the bed or off the whatever and make it happen. I'm saying this because of the fact that currently I'm trying to create passive income, right? And I'm thinking that the best way to do it, trust me, I've tried other things that we're not going to get into right now. But the newest thing that I feel like I might excel in is actually writing. So, or book publishing, because self publishing is actually not as hard as people think. The only thing that's hard is all the elements that are involved in actually writing the book, having the book edited, having the book formatted, having like the design, like the cover and the back, getting it registered, getting an ISBN number, all these other things, and then hitting that publish button. Hitting that publish button is the easiest part out of this whole entire process. And it's funny because I feel like God has been giving me such great ideas about what to write about, because before I was like, okay, what do I write about? And I thought about hiring a ghostwriter to write for me, but even a ghostwriter needs like structure, like you need to tell them what to write about. So you can even hire someone to come up with ideas on what you can write about. Even Chat GPT or whatever can generate a list of ideas for you to write. I mean, like, all you have to do is just get up, get on your computer or your phone, and actually get this party started. So, yeah, so right now I'm trying to get books published. Oh my goodness, the things that I'm running into, right? But I'm not discouraged, because I truly do believe that the more problems I run into, the more it's a sign that I should take this thing to the next level, take it up a notch, so to speak. And I can't do that if I'm not telling myself, oh, you have a bit of free time, continue the book. You have a bit of money, hire this person to do this regarding the book. You have a create a budget so that in 2 months you can hire a designer for the book, blah blah blah. If I don't plan that, no one's gonna do that on my behalf. No one's gonna hire me to do that on my own behalf. And basically, no one is gonna knock on your door and give you money. I don't know how else to say it. No one's gonna knock on your door and give you money. If you want money, get up and go get it, right? And I've been watching a lot of these like entrepreneurial videos. Even this week, I found a new person that I've been watching, and Like he's been like, because sometimes you need that. You know, when I first started, the person who got me out of bed was Christy Jackson. Google her. Like, girl, she makes everything happen for herself. No one tells her, hey, wake up and sell. No, she wakes up and sells, you know? And she'll tell you the same thing. She's like, if you wanna be a boss, and she doesn't mean like boss of people, like if you wanna take control of your life, then do things that bosses are supposed to do. Isn't that like a simple concept that nobody does? Right? And I'm just like, oh my gosh. And sometimes you think you don't have the means. But I'm telling you, if you have Wi-Fi and a laptop, the everything, it's endless what you can do. The only other missing thing that you might need is money. Because wow, for example, I ran into a video this week on YouTube about this girl who's now making six figures. And she said that she did that through self-publishing. The kind of like, I don't want to say it's an unfair advantage that she had was the fact that her boyfriend already knew how the process worked. So all she had to do was basically learn from him. And that's a nice way to learn this thing. But the rest of us who don't have boyfriends who have already done this, we can only learn from YouTube and courses, right? And what sucks is that the best courses are super expensive. So I go to this girl's page and the self-paced course is the cheapest one she has. It's $1,000. It's $997. That's 18,000 rand. But it's either you pay the 18,000 rand, you learn everything you need to learn so that you can get this party started, or you can literally waste an entire year trying to learn everything you can from free resources in order for you to get the party started. That's also a choice that one needs to make when you're trying to make an additional stream of income. So everything that I've even accomplished now, except my two jobs, which I think came through networking, but anyway, that's a topic for another day. They all came from self starting. They all came from managing my time so that there's time for me to learn about the things I need to learn about in order to make things happen, you know? Even with my t shirt business, I mean, it was so beautiful when the t-shirts were printed. Like, I couldn't believe it. I was like, did I do that? It was my design. And even when I looked at it, I just couldn't believe it. And I think that was my, sometimes I think that maybe my business failed because I needed just to see that I could do something out of nothing. Like I could have an idea, execute it, and it come, like, see it come, like, be live. Do you understand what I mean? So I'm going to summarize or conclude by saying, if you want to make something happen, it's really within your power. You have to be resourceful. You have to want to do it, get excited about it. And that's actually what the guy said in the video that I watched this week. Get excited, start somewhere, master that thing that you are learning or doing, and then get on with it. Sell if you need to sell. But don't not do anything. Then nothing will happen. The same thing year after year after year after year is going to happen. And if that's how you want to live, that's great. But if you don't and you want change, the change seriously starts with you. And don't be afraid to spend money. I spent a lot of money to learn what I know now. And I've always been an advocate of that. If you watch my previous videos, if you need knowledge, you need to decide what you're going to sacrifice. Either you're going to sacrifice money or you're going to sacrifice time. So if you are going to waste, not okay, let's not say waste. If you're going to use a year to learn something that you could have learned in 2 months from an expert, but where you had to pay money, which one is more important to you? You know? So, and choose wisely who you want to learn from. It must be someone that you've actually seen get results, not someone who promises something that they've never seen. So, yeah, I hope that helps. Let me know in the comments down below. Share your stories with me. I would love to help. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.